All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling. We talk about, injury, statuses, inactive, updates in terms of superstars. We also talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and signings from promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor, AEW to the CMLL, the NW. If it makes major news, wrestling headlines, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. All right, just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our AEW Dynamite review. We also had my Thursday night wrestling preview. We talked about Ring of Honor and TNA. And then we talked about TNA Bound for Glory. And now we're going to talk about some news that, like I said, kind of I'm not a huge Bill Goldberg kind of guy, but we have his WWE plans released. So we're going to get into that. Without further ado, it's going to pop up that graphic there. Bam. All right. Obviously, Goldberg recently has been seen. He was seen at WWE Bad Blood. In the front row with his son and his wife. And then you had Gunther kind of address how he was more of a Well, he was talking to Bret Hart a couple of weeks prior. Then he said I was a Bill Goldberg guy, and he straightened it out. He's like, you know what? When I said that, I was just messing around to get under Bret Hart's skin. I think you're one of the most horrible wrestlers in the whole entire world. And the confrontation left, Bill Goldberg to kind of recently post on social media saying this, and I quote, he said, "I ain't dead as long as I am breathing." Basically, don't talk crap about me. Building up to this moment possibly where you can have a Gunther versus Bill Goldberg match. I'm not that great upon it. Based on Goldberg in the past. I feel like during the Vince McMahon era, maybe this match would be like a fan favorite. But or maybe I'm just on a whole nuanced side. Maybe I don't want to see this. Like, what I mean? You have a WCW legend and a WWE, obviously future Hall of Famer, they're gonna give it to him. Going against Gunther, who is, poised and polished, basically one of the hottest superstars that you're seeing on the WWE Monday Night Raw roster, even on SmackDown. He's definitely, top 10 in terms of professional wrestling. No one wants to see him go against Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, he's getting older, and obviously in the past it's been, basically reciprocated on how he handles his business inside the ring. You've seen botches after botches after botches, from, first and foremost, he's not really, he was never really that tactician inside the ring. I feel like ultimately WCW kind of brought him to their product because he was big, he was bad, he was rough, he was mean, he was dominant. He was something that people wanted to see. Ultimately, a series of smash matches after smash matches, and obviously kind of building up toward like when you saw Kevin Owens during his first Universal Championship run. There could have been a time where Kevin Owens could have picked up that victory. Maybe it would have been a different kind of promoting of a young superstar. That single booking of him dropping the title to Goldberg in that kind of fashion, it destroyed Kevin Owens. It destroyed his reputation. It destroyed his self confidence. It also destroyed the fans' perspective on him. As soon as he lost to Goldberg in that fashion, people are like, "Man, this guy's not a main eventer. This guy isn't going to be the face of WWE like in ever. This guy's selling TV. He's selling T-shirt brands. I I don't believe in Kevin Owens. And I feel like ultimately that's a huge spot for Bill Goldberg. That's a huge spot for WWE creative as well. So maybe it's not entirely 1,010% on Bill's side, but at the same time, like, maybe if they had a decent match, but Bill Goldberg never has good matches. He doesn't have good wrestling matches. He never did. He goes in there, like I said, smash spot after smash spot after smash spot. And that's the only kind of wrestling he knows. And going up against Gunther, do you really think that this is going to be a great spot for Gunther to get smashed by Bill Goldberg? Absolutely not. The main thing that makes Gunther the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the thing that makes him look and the thing that makes him stand out in terms of the world of professional wrestling is his ability to put on amazing matches. You remember him. Look at that match with Sheamus. At the Clash of the Castle. It was an absolute banger. Look at that WrestleMania 39 match. Look at that WrestleMania 40 match with Sammy. Like it was good. Putting him against somebody like Bill Goldberg is an absolute disgusting, disgraceful. It's an insult. It's an insult to a young, rising superstar, and this is a booking that I really hope WWE does not want to get their hands dirty on. But of course, obviously, the match is set to take place at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, from the beginning of WrestleMania 1, you kind of bring in these icons, you bring in these outside entertainment conglomerates, you bring out these superstars, these once were, maybe sometimes maybe like a has been. And like, it's just the entertainment factor of WrestleMania. But I feel like under the Triple H Paul Levesque era, recently you've seen a lot of these things kind of being brushed under the rug or not really being acknowledged in totality. And like I said, I just don't want this to hurt Gunther's push because I feel like he's a great WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I don't want to see him lose the title to basically anybody other than maybe, even Seth Rollins nowadays seems like it's quite a push. It's quite a push. It's quite a bend because Gunther, he's young, he's talented, he's good looking, he definitely has everything it takes to be a successful face of the WWE. With Monday Night Raw heading into this new day and age of this Netflix, they signed a 10-year billion-dollar contract with Netflix, a streaming service that has been prominent in the world of entertainment for years. They're like 20 million thousand whatever subscribers ahead of like Hulu, Disney Plus, also Amazon Prime. Netflix was kind of like, they were kind of like they created the wheel. They created this whole streaming services and stuff like that. So the fact that that Gunther will take on Bill Goldberg, if Bill Goldberg loses, I like it. I love it actually. But if he wins, a couple red flags there. Couple red flags. Of course, you also have to think about the Bray Wyatt push. When the Fiend was absolutely untouchable. Where every single time he went out to the arena, skulls were cracking, dark, ominous glow. Nobody could beat this guy. He was this devilish figure, but it all changed. It all changed when Bill Goldberg stepped inside the ring with him and defeated this guy who couldn't be beaten by anybody. Like it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's silly, and I don't really, I definitely don't want to see this happening. And also, like I said, it's not confirmed that what Bret Hart has to say is the stone cold honest truth. But based on Goldberg's track record, I feel like maybe Bret Hart would have still been wrestling inside the ring if Bill Goldberg wasn't such a lux, man. You had the top tier competitor at his game, and Bret Hart knew when he went to WCW he would have to be working with, a couple of inactive, not inactive, a little inexperienced wrestling stars that basically could hurt him. But then Vince McMahon pulled out of their 20-year contract that they handshaked on. Vince McMahon obviously turned the other cheek, and then bam, this Montreal screw job happened. Brett is forced to go to WCW, and then he's forced to wrestle people like Bill Goldberg, where he's forced to retire because of a missed spot, because of a miscommunication by Bill Goldberg, who claimed that he said the kick was coming. You have Bret Hart, who probably could have been the top WWF/WWE title holder of all time. He had so much potential that could have been Bret Hart. He could have been the face of the World Wrestling Entertainment, from years to come. And it sucks and it's crazy. And also Bill Goldberg, botched a jackhammer, which ultimately led for the Undertaker to almost break his neck, to land on his head. Like, when guys like that happen, yeah, it's cool. Bill Goldberg's cool. And that's really all you can say about Bill Goldberg. To be honest, I can't look somebody straight in the face and be like, Bill Goldberg was an amazing wrestler. And I'm not trying to be mean or I'm not trying to throw shade at Bill Goldberg because ultimately I did love him in WCW. I did. And when he came to WWE after the whole invasion, I thought that oh my god, it was awesome. but I can't look somebody straight in the face and be like, Bill Goldberg was a great wrestler. I can't do that. But I can look somebody dead in the face and be like, man, Bill Goldberg was so cool, dude. I can do that. I can do that. And that just, for me, that, that means something. That means something. All right, guys. So we talked about some Bill Goldberg, and now we're going to talk about our fifth and final segment. We're going to talk about WrestleMania 41's main event. In a recent interview with Cody Rhodes, he sensed, and he kind of basically, he kind of sold a little bit. He had this, this attraction, this excitement heading toward WrestleMania season, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. So hey, do not go anywhere.